Yay. Let's go for blue again, huh? I feel kind of blue. Actually, I'm amazed that I've turned the recorder on here. I've been, for me, an emotional wreck for a few days, even though the sun is cutting back in its intensity. I've still been having quite a challenge of it. Amazing how identified we can get with these avatars, with these body-mind things. It's amazing at what deep levels we have things stored. And so you might clean house beautifully on the surface in the conscious mind and still be deeply booby-trapped within. So the journals are going to be all out of order when they're shared because I have to go with what feels right for my feeling tone. And so this one is from 318, the first one of that day. Haven't looked up that Mayan day yet. Here it is. Where am I now? Though I don't quite know, at least I don't feel on the outside so much. My God, it's been difficult. What a challenging set of days. While I've heard others share how they're sensitive to the sun's cycles, all I've had with them before now was joy. When I'd hear there was a big solar wind, I'd go out and sunbathe in the nude sometimes, pulling weeds in the back where I can't be seen. I'm not used to thinking of myself as sensitive to that. Looks like time to reconsider, to be open at least to new possibilities. How about you? Are you too coming out of it, whatever it is or was? I sure can't say I'm totally there, but that's really unimportant. Why? Well, because such a thing is looking to the past to judge the present. And it's nothing to do with the now moment, which is sacred, more sacred than that. So let's do what we can not to use our now in that way. Actually, any comparing at all is partaking of time and of past, or sometimes of future projections, I guess. No matter, none of it is being strictly in heart. That's totally mind-centric. Can you see that? If it's not clear enough, comment me, let me know. Once upon a time, I was more familiar with being with living in and from mind, but that's fading or faded away, and I don't want to go back out there just to identify with it again. As I look to the self in this now moment, well, let me share what I see, what seems to be to me. I feel that a hurdle has been crossed, that we've leaped over it or stumbled over it or crashed into it and climbed over it. I don't know if we all have, but let's not let thoughts or worries like that occupy us. Unless you're content to remain in the mind, be with yourself. I see this hurdle, though a large one, as not the end or the largest one. Yet many can tell by the intensity in these last days that it has been somewhat different. It threw me off enough that I actually called on Ken in between our healing sessions to ask him to look at it and to tell me what he saw, what was going on. That dark night feeling of being so cut off and alone is an unpleasant one, I freely admit. Anyway, a few hours later, he called me back and told me that his phone's ringing off the hook with calls like mine. And right away, of course, it's comforting to know it's not personal. So he said it was due to the activity of the sun. He felt that we were all feeling like this, calling it a major clean out. a clean out of the plumbing, whatever that means. I didn't ask. I might next time. Obviously, it has to do with flow and cleanup, so that works. Works beautifully, huh? Do you feel that it fits? So, how have you been feeling and faring with this? You might want to journal it. These are historical times. Such major changes are coming that one day it will be difficult to recollect times as they are now. A written or recorded record could be helpful. Who knows, maybe even to those who come after, if not to us, as we're practicing good hindsight. I don't know. What's a past life regression but a calling on hindsight, huh? I don't know about you, but I've been feeling we're practicing a good deal of escapism without meaning to. On listening to that recent Dimitri Halley video, it came clearer yet. And now, on what might be the other side of whatever has been this most recent hurdle, it comes even clearer. I'm going to speak to that. There will be some, if not many, who won't want to hear this message, and you may be one of them. To you, all I can suggest is to stick close to your heart. There's nothing better or more full of blessing than that. And be at peace. Remember that no matter what may seem to be on the surface, what may seem, that everything is actually fine and wonderful. It takes heart vision to see that, but once you do, you never forget. It helps you through the hard times. Also, I suggest that we all take it upon us to practice being divine, accepting our native divinity. Now, that's easier said than done. It brings up a lot of guilt and sense of worthlessness and of being a sinner and not good enough and yada, yada, yada. Energy that's no fun to be around. And that has to be dealt with. It's our opportunity, though, to show it the door and no longer keep it around. That's why it comes up. So be sure to send it away with your blessings. After all, if it was a part of your journey, then it played a part in your victory. No hard feelings. Be only love. See, every thought that comes into your head and every feeling that comes into your heart doesn't mean you have to think it and doesn't mean you have to feel it. It's really good to be watching, because often enough, if you're doing that, you've got sufficient distance that you can identify something that wants to be let go, that's coming up as a test to see if you're really ready for the next step. And if you cling to it, then you're not, Okay, to get right to it, too many of us, to one extent or another, have been using the whole Ascension concept, the 2012 thing, as an escape from current reality, or from what seems to be real on the surface of 3D life. And to the avatar, to the human, it's real enough. We want out of here in the worst way, so we've latched on to this whole Ascension thing. Now, to take this journal trip, this heart trip with me, let's realize up front that what's going to happen will happen. And no matter what, that will be fine. Great place to start. Let's recognize and acknowledge that. I'm not saying that ascension in some form won't happen. That's not the point here. I'm looking at something else, some dirty garments a lot of us are carrying around or wearing. Now would be a really good time to get them cleaned. Are you game? I warn you, though, that there will be a price, a big price for this ride. I wonder how many will be both willing and able to pay it. All are able, so it's down to the willing part. Let's find out. Here's the price. I want you to surrender the whole idea that there's some sort of rescue from current reality just up ahead. Let that sink in. What I'm suggesting is that we all make peace with what is by allowing it to be whatever it wants to be. That we let go of our expectation for this or that, mostly for ascension, for the rescue of ascension, of slipping away from what may be seen as a prison planet or a hellhole. Many are simply aching to get out of here, and they're consumed with it. So we're looking at that, just observing it. So keep watch. Okay, my friends, worst case scenario up ahead. What if things were just to continue as they are? Can you make friends with that? Look at how you may be feeling right now. Are you in touch with your feelings? If you are, I bet it's uncomfortable. That would be reasonable. Whatever it is, just be with it. Don't try to change it. Just let it be. And don't run from it, but instead look it right in the face. Actually, observation isn't looking anything in the face. It's more just quietly observing. It's not so dualistic quite. How many can recognize that what we're looking at here is fear? We're afraid we can't handle much more of things as they are. So we've been subtly looking for outs, for rescue of some kind, a back door, and Ascension was handy. We pinned our hopes, too many hopes, on it. It's time to back away and get a better perspective on this stuff. At least that's what I see and say. And that's what we're doing here, just stepping back a bit to watch. Now, you've had waves of detachment coming upon you for some time. For most of us, it's gotten strong enough that we can even recognize them consciously. We notice when we wake up one morning more detached than before. We think on this or that, and it just doesn't seem important. We're just holding this with a much lighter touch. Now, while it was maybe disconcerting at first, this detachment stuff, I hope you've made friends with this. Maybe even realized what a great cosmic gift it is. I know that I have, and it's helpful right here. This detachment is also a heart quality. And you know, it's also something that people, when they're having an NDE, find the minute they step out of their body, they find a major detachment for this whole realm. It's a higher consciousness thing. You can claim it as something rightfully yours. It's a heart quality. Remember, we're identifying more and more not with the 3D avatar, but with the one above. We can call it oversoul, higher self, source, the one. It doesn't matter. We're identifying with our own native divinity, no matter the words we use. Clearly, this detachment from 3D could not come at a better time. Let's make use of it. Let's flow with it. Call on it at times when it could be helpful. Hey, why not? We have so much less fear now that it's amazing. If it isn't for you, then maybe devote yourself to spending some time processing your fear. It's useful. Makes you feel good too. It's much, much easier to get out from under than mind could believe. Largely, just looking is what's called for, while being still and in heart. It's a bit of a challenge, but nothing that's beyond a being who is divine. Keep remembering that, claiming it, accepting it. If these things are truth, then they will remain. They will hold strong. Same for ascension. If it's truth, it will happen. Keep going for heart. That's your castle, your retreat from the craziness all around. For a while, as you're getting stabilized there in this new way of being, of viewing everything, you may feel off balance. That's because you are. Obviously, those things you used before to establish balance didn't prove to be truthful or strong, so they fell out from under. Keep remembering, I am divine. Reaffirm your true nature. Keep anchoring in that and in heart. Come from strength always. Your battles are won for you this way without having to fight. We're waking up to what is, not out seeking what is not to make it what is. We're not doing a becoming here, we're doing a being, or we're being a being, whatever. We have nothing to gain or to find, to develop, or to learn. It's just a remembering we do now. And maybe we could find it, but we find it within. Whatever you want, you already are that. Remember, you contain the whole. The cosmos in a grain of sand, as above, so below. It's legitimate. Now, the you I speak to has nothing to do with mind and its ideas. What mind wants doesn't interest here. We're in heart. I speak to the real you. I call that one forth. We both need to listen to that one. Set mind aside. Again and again, you will have to do this. Mind is stubborn as hell. It's a quality or characteristic of mind. No big deal. It will prove you, though, you've got to be stubborn as well. It will force you to focalize your forces, to pull yourself together, to integrate, to take this on. It will pull you firmly into the now, for there's no other place that isn't in mind. Mind invents the rest. That past and future stuff, stick with heart and learn to identify mind so you can ignore it when it pipes up uninvited. To get to heart, to get to where I am, you've got to leave time and space altogether. That's what happens whenever you truly enter your heart. You step right out of time. You have all of time space available to you there within. It's all one. You're at the heart of that. Now, from this space, from this vantage point, let's look at the whole ascension thing again. On the count of 3, let's let it go. 1, 2, 3. Just let go. Let yourself rise up above any such need or desire. It's quite okay for there to be a desire there, but let it be a gentle preference instead of a raging desire backed by fear. That's pretty ugly, really. You can see it from heart. Preferences are fine. It's attachment that we're letting go of. It's not that ascension won't happen, remember. Stay in heart. Some slipped back into fear, and that's fine. I mean, that's what's real, okay? Just stick close to heart with it and just let it be. Just watch. Now, the truth is, ascension may or may not happen the way we have configured it between our ears. And if it does, it may not, or I would say likely will not, happen in 2012. Let it go. Happy spring equinox, by the way. Let it be whatever it is. Take your claws out of it. Release your stranglehold, your powerful need at least the way you've been seeing it, for that to happen, and to happen this year. Let that go. Stand back. Release, everyone. Come on, just release. Call on your detachment to come to the fore. Anchor more firmly in heart. And if bad feelings come up, just let them be. Get a good look at them. Neither run away nor toward them. Just watch. And remember, seeing is doing. You're actually accomplishing something here just by observing. Some things will change. Your source is accomplishing, whatever. Boy, this has been a challenging one to help keep you all in heart. Many fall to the gut, and of course some to the mind, but it need not be like that. You can reprogram yourself to retreat to the heart, to always be heart-centered. And it's not that hard. Just be determined. Stubbornness helps. Now, as you sit with your feelings, your discomfort there, if you're taking this trip, you are processing your fear. You are healing or being healed. Healing is, let's put it like that. Healing is, and you are one with healing. That works. Just stay out of mind. There is absolutely nothing worthwhile that mind can offer right now. Well, I guess that's not quite true, for if you've reached the stage where your mind is not in the driver's seat, where it's in the back seat instead, then mind can lend some support. It can remind you of certain keys and clues and things that are helpful. I've shared some of these in previous journals, and I'm too much in heart right now to go call them up, so let that be. Our minds can't quite get the vision of what lies ahead, and we don't want to use them to try either, for mind is creative. Right now, in this major transition we're making, there will be times when pure emptiness is far better than any thought ever dreamed of being. What is and is to be is so grand, is so far beyond thought's reach, that we don't want to dim or impede it in any way with our thought. Now, how many will get what's being said here? I don't know. All I can do is go with the flow. That's my joy. That's following my bliss. Let each find and follow our own heart's true bliss, whatever it is, my friends. That's the best, the shortest way into that, into being back home in consciousness, back together again. You are that. You are that already. You don't need this ascension thing. You already transcend that right there in your being. Mind can't see this, so don't use it to try. Instead, see it with eyes of heart. It is by heart vision we see in the magical kingdom, the kingdom of heart. And keep remembering you are divine. If you contain the whole, you have no needs. Don't let mind get a hold on this, or you'll have ego to deal with at some point, and that's not so much fun. The secret to bypassing the ego while yet being divine is simply being in heart. All is done for you there. Perfection simply is. There's nothing you need to do for or about it. It just is, and it is found within. As so many have said before, the kingdom is within. Well, it is. And by the way, ego's not a bad thing. It's a necessary thing. Just letting it be in the driver's seat isn't so hot. As we align with the beauty of the oncoming flow here in the sacred now, We are both blessed and blessing to the earth. We are not yet suitable, not yet ready to take up the inner throne. There are still a few impediments in the way for most of us, mostly centered in or having to do with mind and letting it go. But that's fine. All is well, regardless. This is a divine operation that's going on. You needn't worry about guiding or controlling it. Instead, just find heart and stick with the flow there. Everything else will take care of itself while you watch. Others may look at you and think you are doing this or that. They see you doing it, but they're still in mind, so they can't yet perceive that from heart you're doing nothing at all. You're simply observing, and you notice what the body is getting done. You notice it seems to be happening, some of it through you, through actions of your avatar there. But you are locked within the love embrace, being danced. You know it's not you doing that. That is only what seems to be to the mind. You left mind long ago. Time to recognize that now.